Hello and welcome everybody to another Wednesday night full of action-packed racing here with the Vigilante Racing League. And man, oh man, are we in store for a good one. It's getting loud up here in Loudon. These guys are taking on the Magic Mile here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and it's going to be a tricky one. Same thing like last week at Worldwide Technology Gateway. So you guys definitely are in for a great show here tonight. But first, let's get things kicked off with the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Hello and welcome back everybody. Thank you so much, and we look forward to having you all here on aboard. As always, I hit that camera button a little too soon, but we gotta say a big thank you to our proud sponsors. As always, you got D&D Race Graphics. That's Grafix. That's by Mr. Ricky Wittenberg, as he puts on a great job painting a whole bunch of these cars, trucks, whatever you want on this great simulator. Go ahead, check him out over on Facebook and on Trading Paints, as well as his real life business of Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. Go ahead and reach out to him at 423-444-0454, whether you're looking to buy or sell a house in that Johnson City, Tennessee area, or anywhere around the country, man. He's got contacts all over the place. Go ahead and give Ricky a call, because buying or selling a house is something you do not want to do alone. Get yourself a good quality realtor, and talk about some great realtors down there. Ricky is one of the best. So with that, we will now bring the face cams back in like I'm supposed to. I'm Alan Brown, and as always, I am joined in the booth by a leopard, Mr. Alan English here tonight. Alan, I know you're feeling under the weather, but man, we're in store for an interesting race here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, a little under the weather. I'm going to do the best I can. Luckily, I've got a little backup tonight, which y'all meet him here in a minute. But yeah, I wouldn't miss this one. We saw one heck of a race last week at Worldwide Technology Speedway, and then we're coming here tonight. It's a similar track. It's right at a mile. It's actually a little bit shorter. They're running the same setup here. This is a fixed setup league. We're going to be running the same setup here. I think they tweaked it just a little bit. But I think you're going to see a lot of similar racing out here tonight. But I think a little bit more of a driver-friendly track, as both ends of this thing are similar. It's not shaped like an egg like last week. So definitely looking forward to New Hampshire tonight.
That indeed. And as you guys can see, no Adam Turner here with us tonight. He is playing hooky. So filling in is Mr. Greg Klein, good friend of the broadcast. You could hear him over on MDOT when we were over there. But Greg, glad to have you around, and I think you're in store for a great race over here at New Hampshire.
Hey, I appreciate you guys inviting me. I'm kind of excited for this one. I haven't broadcast with you guys ever, so looking forward to it. We've got 200 laps tonight. Track temp right now is 101, cooling off a little bit, which is going to be nice for these guys. 5 sets of tires, 70% fuel, a 17x DQ limit, so you don't want to beat and bang too much, and 1 fast repair.
Man, couldn't have said it any better myself. Weather looks really good. It's actually pretty realistic to what today was. I know the track temp's up there about 104 degrees, so track is absolutely cooking, but otherwise the weather looking absolutely fantastic. Bringing us on down to that key to the race here tonight, and it's you may like to rock, but you got to stay off that granite, man. The outsides of these corners, they are brutal.
Yeah, it's a little bit different texture up there. If you could see the difference in the grooves there. So these guys are going to be searching around, trying to find a place where the car is going to stick. Greg, I'd like to talk to you about this because you're one of those guys that really knows how to save your tires. And we talked about it day in, day out, or week in, week out over at Midwest Days of Thunder. But these guys go green a lot. They have admin thrown cautions only. They got Lori up in the booth. If more than one car spins, it'll get thrown, but it has to really be caution worthy for her to throw that thing. So long run car is where it's at. So what's your strategy to, make sure you got a good long run car?
Usually the trick I use is you don't want to be too aggressive getting in the corner. You let off the gas a little early, roll into the corner, let it roll through the center, and then just easy back on the gas. You just don't want to abuse your tires at any racetrack where you're going to have a long run. So it's really smooth in, let it roll without a lot of brake, and just easy back on the gas.
And not to mention, I mean, this is the Xfinity cars. You really got to watch on that throttle input on the exit of these turns, because that back end will just snap loose on you with a moment's notice, and you're in for a total world of hurt as these drivers head on out to put some qualifying laps in. Right now, Jim Ott on top of that leaderboard. He is new, a rookie to this season, but right now currently sitting on top of that board. And I think tonight the starting position is actually going to come into a big factor here.
Yeah, it is. Track position is important even early. And we've seen Jim Ott so far this season, his first season here at Vigilante Racing League. It's going to be one of those guys to contend with on down the road when it gets closer to the end of the season. I want to thank Knox Medusa over there on Twitch for joining us, saying it's a beautiful day for a race. It sure is on the simulation, that's for sure. And Greg Dobson talking about what we talked about during race setup here, about the setup, being the same as last week, but just, a little bit tweaked for the track here, I think. And of course, the Anderson crew is out there. Albert Anderson the second, and Edith Anderson watching over there on Facebook. So thanks everybody for joining us on all 3 platforms tonight.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And man, as we take a look at Chandler Paula, one of our great drivers that is volunteering to be eligible for the face cam service, he's going full helmet here tonight.
He's got his Jeff Gordon helmet on. Old Chan the man, check him out there.
Yes.
Also, get that visor down for safety, man.
As we also have Jeremiah Burke out there running around with the face camera on, and as well as our Numb Thumbs gaming community friend here, Mr. Derek Welch. He's got that camera on right now. He's done his qualifying effort, just sitting back, getting ready to wait for this race to get started. We also have Greg Dobson out there as well, has the face cam on. Jonathan Osborne did have his on at one point, but we'll have to wait to see if he brings that one back on. But otherwise, everything looking okay. And right now, that tower looking pretty good. A lot of names we expect to see. Others we don't normally see here. Kind of towards the top. I mean, Jim Ott being that new face. Nice to see a new face on top. But of course, you got Jess Vaught, who had just an absolute stunning season last season, just about finishing in the top 3 every single race. Looks like Jonathan Osborne had to restart his computer, and he doesn't even know if he's going to make it back to the start of this race, but hopefully he does make it. He does have a little bit of time here as qualifying just ends, and it looks like the field is just starting to grid on up. So let's head on down here and kind of go through what tonight's starting grid is going to look like, which is Jim Ott up there on pole position. Great job from that 205, followed by that 33 of Jess Vaught. He's going to be starting on that outside in second. The 51 of Mike Adamson, the silent assassin, is going to be starting here in third, with that 728 of his limitless teammate, Timothy Pope, coming off that big win last week, starting here in fourth. 208 of Derek Welch is going to start here in fifth, with the 55 of Ricky Wittenberg in sixth. The 7 of Russ Kilgore actually starting up towards the front here tonight, so he's going to have a tough job here getting that hard charger of the day, but who knows, we'll see how he goes. He's going to start in seventh. The 11 of Eric Klafka is going to be starting here in eighth, with Mark Collins in that 223 starting in ninth. Kelly Keel, he's going to be starting us in that final top 10 position in the 01.
David Fight in the 221 is going to start inside row 6. Dave Hot Rod Mayberry in the 29 outside row 6. Row number 7 is going to look like this: the 28 of George Rincon on the inside, and the 37 of Dustin Reilly. 72 of Chandler Paul. Chan the Man going to be starting in 15th. And outside row 8, the number 2 America's driver Albert Anderson. Row number 9 is going to be Nathan Stanley in the 267, another newcomer for this season. And to his outside, veteran driver Jeremiah Burke in the 753. Let's see. Jeff Ottinger in the 14 will start in 19th. 20th will be Tony Polk in the 222. Russ Endicott in the 57 will start 21st. Greg Dobson in the 285, 22nd place. Let's see here. I got to resort here.
Yeah, got Chad McCade
sorry about that.
Starting here 23rd in that 211, with Dion Jones starting 25th, and Jonathan Osborne, if he can get back in time, he's going to be rounding out the tail end of this field in 25th. It looks like Dave Hot Rod Mayberry as well having a little issue here. Hopefully he can find his way back in, but these guys are now all out there on the racing track and circling around here, getting everything up to temperature and ready to go behind that nondescript iRacing pace car.
And I just want to say thank you guys for doing all that, so I didn't butcher anybody's names, because I really don't know these guys right yet, so I appreciate that.
They're very forgiving.
Well, I hope so. Oh, I hope so.
And here we go through turns 3 and 4. Looks like we will be taken to the green flag here right off the bat as that pace car just exits 4, and it's going to make that tricky dive down into pit road. Man, I think that's going to be, we're going to see a lot of accidents as these guys trying to make that turn down into the pits, but either way, the green flag is waving, and away we go here for the first time tonight at New Hampshire, side by side racing. We head on down to turns 1 and 2, still side by side. Just Vaught kind of stuck on that outside. Man, that inside line really helps you out here on these restarts. Looks like Jim Ott able to get out to a great start. Same thing with Mike Adamson. Oh no, looks like Russell Endicott might have had a little bit of a problem there. He's already kind of got a blown up race car, and looks like maybe Dion Jones or Chad McCabe is kind of out there with them. It looks like we're going to continue here under green flag conditions. Timothy Pope now kind of side by side with his teammate, that 51 of Mike Adamson, heading back down through turns 1 and 2.
We did see some early contact there. We saw the 208 getting into it with somebody. It looked like Jeremiah Burke up there. But some early contact going in the first couple of turns. 200 laps, guys.
It's easy to get over aggressive here and use each other up. Especially, there's no banking on this track really to speak of. So it's really tough to get through these corners.
As we saw there, Ricky Wittenberg had a little bobble of the car, able to get it back under control and continue to cruise on around it. It's actually kind of interesting watching these guys up here in the kind of top 10 all the way back to Dustin Reilly, who's already up 4 spots. Same thing with Jeremiah Burke. He's going to be up 7 spots here off of that start. They're kind of running in that middle high line as pretty much as high as you can go before hitting that granite strip, and it seems to be working out really good for these guys as Jess Vaught spins it around here as the fastest lap of the race early on here.
Greg, do you see any benefit of maybe kind of trying to work your way up the track? I mean, maybe starting on that seam and just kind of seeing how far you can push it up there? Because, I mean, the higher you can run, the faster you can make up time on the guy coming out.
Yeah, me personally, I've never been really good with the high line. I've always been more of a bottom feeder, especially on this track. It just seems to work out better for me. Maybe go in a little high and then dime in the corner, some come out low would be the best way to go, just in my experience.
As we had a as we had a battle up there for the lead, Jess Vaught trying to figure out and pick his moves to get around Jim Ott. We also had some moves back here with Dustin Reilly and Jeremiah Burke. They were side by side for a second. It looks like they're going to go side by side here once again, coming down the front straightaway. Big run here from Jeremiah as he takes that spot away from Dustin Reilly.
I mean, to me, the key a lot on here is how you exit the corner. If you can exit on straight, coming off low like that, that to me just builds a lot of speed. Get back on the gas a lot quicker.
We also have the 267 of Nathan Stanley. He's kind of doing what you were talking about, kind of riding around on that bottom. He's been slowly trying to crawl his way up this leaderboard, still where he started there in 17th, but he's been giving Chandler Paul some fits here, trying to get around him, so nice little battle there. You also have David Fight. He's been trying to hold off George Rincon in that 28. These guys have been pretty nose to tail here pretty well at the jump. Same thing with Still. We got Timothy Pope and Mike Adamson. I know they're teammates for Team Limitless there, but they've been racing each other fairly hard. As looks like Jess Vaught really closed up and think that gap up here at the front. He's going to try to peek his nose down in low. Just not quite there yet, though. And he's going to tuck right back in the line.
And the man said he had to take his helmet off because he couldn't hear the audio. Probably a good move there. Brandon Taylor saying, race hell, praise Dale. Let's go number 33. So thanks for joining us, Brandon. And over there on, let's see, over there on Facebook, Edith has a question for us. She says, were any of you guys racers before? And I think the only racing we've ever done was probably with each other on the go-kart track.
Yeah, that's about it. Otherwise, virtually here, as we got an attempt here at the pass for the lead. Jim Ott going out to that granite. He's able to make it just stick enough. I think having just those two tires on there really didn't hurt him too bad, but Jess not giving him an inch of room, shoving him way outside. And here comes a little crossover look from that 205 as Jess steals away the lead here on lap number 9, going on to lap 10.
Like we might have gotten our audio problems fixed. The from last week, that is. Albert Anderson said, I'm having trouble seeing the cars, and then I guess whatever happened there, it fixed it for him. So, Albert, we're glad that you're able to see what's going on out there on the track.
That's all because I showed up tonight, so I mean everything just magically fixed itself.
Brought
I'm a
the
technician,
gremlin
you know.
with you.
I'm a technician, man. I mean, I get around stuff, it just fixes itself.
Yeah, speaking of Albert Anderson, he makes a pass here on that 72 of Chandler Paul. Looks like Chandler Paul going in very deep into turn number 1. He's going to scrape that outside wall, lose a little time, add a little damage to that 72 Camaro, and thankfully only really losing just a couple of spots there to Albert and Nathan Stanley.
29 keeps peeking in on the 208 there, but he's biding his time. Hot Rod's gonna be patient here.
Yeah, Hot Rod a few laps down, almost 10 laps down. I wonder if he just didn't quite get the bathroom break in time and really had to start from the pits or something. But Hot Rod's got some work to do. So far hasn't missed any cautions though. So any of the cautions that come up, he's going to be one of the first big-time takers, and look forward to seeing what he can do out there as Jess Vaught opens up that lead, almost a second now over Jim Ott. You still got Timothy Pope and Mike Adamson. As we got a couple people, I don't know if they were coming out of the pits or what, but they were kind of close to that inside line and able to get on through. As you can see, that 29 work his way up through some cars that are a little bit quicker than him on position. However, he does have a little bit fresher tires, and I mean, not that 14 laps is a lot, but flat track like this, every lap almost counts.
Yep, Earl Evans saying, "What's up, AAA?" He said he'd been so sick this week, he's missing this race. As to not wrecking anybody from his sneezing fits, I'm right there with you, man. Caught the same stuff, it sounded like.
I think that just adds to the excitement personally. I mean, sneeze, never know where you're going to end up. It's so much fun. You should try it. So speaking of tires, I mean, there's a lot of fall off here because it's a pretty abrasive surface and it's a flat track. So new tires are definitely going to be key.
Not to mention, I mean, we've been seeing it more and more now as this run's kind of gone along. A lot of people just not able to keep it off of that, granite half of these turns, and that granite eats up the tires even more than the concrete.
Well, something I'm looking forward to, or I'm looking for, I should say, is the amount of contact we're seeing. We saw a little bit the first couple of laps, but once things got spaced out, we haven't seen a whole lot of contact out there. So I think guys are plenty aware of that 17x incident count limit. They don't want to get DQ'd out of this thing for having a little bit too much contact.
Yeah, that will keep you honest and keep your car a lot cleaner, I think, having that DQ limit the way it is.
Take a look at the roof of Mark Collins in that 223. He's trying to chase down the 37 of Dustin Really here as Dustin hits that granite strip and drifts up the track, able to continue to rotate that car on through, but he's going to be a little slow on this back straightaway, and that gap to Mark Collins is closing right on up. And that's the other thing here is I'm sure these guys are going to be able to play with that brake bias, but Greg, I know you're one of the ones that can play with the brake bias a little bit and try to manage these tires on the longer run. Do you think if they have the ability, they're going to be really kind of flipping that switch a lot?
As you're running longer, you're burning fuel. Yeah, you're going to want to change your brake bias because the weight balance of the car is going to change, front to back as the fuel's burned off. So yeah, if you've got the ability, I would definitely be playing with that brake bias to try to get into the corners a little bit better.
And it's the 57 Russ Endicott still missing that hood, trying to just survive here until the first round of pit stops. He doesn't want to use that fast repair too early, but I got a feeling he's really struggling on pace because of that. You also have a little battle here between the 222 of Tony Polk and the 14 of Jeff Ottinger. This is all the way back in 18th and 19th. They've been going at it a little bit here, but looks like Tony is now going to be able to pull away just a little bit. He's also got the 285 of Greg Dobson. He's been kind of one of the ones not really getting the best finishes here for Greg, as much as he would really like to. He's also one of our good drivers that has the face cam on. As you can see, he's got a wonderful wallpaper of his car in that background.
Watching the 753 of Jeremiah Burke right now. He's running like a man on a mission. He's up 11 spots so far. He just took 7th away from Kelly Keel.
And I mean, those two have been kind of moving on up. Kelly up 2 spots on the day. He was able to get around Ricky Wittenberg and Eric Klafka. You also have Dustin Really back here. He's been
contact 211 in the 728. Sorry, bud.
Looks like the 57 just got in the wall too, coming off of 2. So.
Oh man, that's the 211 going way down into the inside kind of area. That's where the road course is. Well, they're not racing the road course here tonight there, Chad, so hopefully you can get everything figured out and back onto the track.
Yeah, I went back and looked. The 728, he was 3 wide with a couple of guys, including one on the apron, when there was a little bit of contact there.
Yeah, that does not work on this track. This is not a 3 wide track. It's barely a 2 wide track.
I think it was a case that somebody was trying to let the other guys by, but they were side by side battling.
Oh,
Yellow's out.
We got a yellow flag.
I don't see an incident out there.
I was gonna say I'm looking through this field. I'm not seeing.
Unless they decided that there was more than a couple of cars involved there and it should have been thrown, maybe they said, well, let's go ahead and throw one. Could be the case.
That could be. Well, we can go back and take a look at the incident there between the 728 and a couple of these other guys here. See what you were talking about. Yeah, just Tim Pope catching on up to some of that lap traffic here. It's really slowing him down. Trying to get around him there. And looked like everyone was. But after that, really didn't see too much. Well, either way, some drivers making their first pit stops of the night here. Be about an eighth of the way through this race, and it's only 5 sets, man. I don't know if it might be a little too early. Again, who knows? You could now be going on to a really long green flag run, and some of these guys that didn't pit, they're going to be out there on a lot older tires.
Yeah, but you only got 5 sets. You really don't want to use them too early. You almost need to average 40 laps per set of tires. So a little early on this for me.
Is there any scenario where you'd want to take 2 here? It just seems like it'd throw the balance just so far off on these cars.
Yeah, that's usually the way it works for me, is take 2 and the balance gets all kinds of messed up, and I wish I'd have taken 4 or none.
Timothy Pope with a little bit of damage coming on down into pit road. Probably not using that fast repair just yet. Maybe just doing a little bit of manual hammer in there to get everything all straightened out. It's not really a aerodynamic track here, but just a little bit of contact to the suspension of these cars can really screw up your day and slow you down.
Yeah, these cars are tough to drive anyway. Xfinity cars are really tough car to drive. It makes it fun, but yeah, any little bit that's going to hurt that suspension, yeah, you don't want that. They're already too much fun.
I'd argue they're more fun and more of a challenge to drive than the Gen 6 Cup cars are. I think a lot of people feel that way.
Oh, they definitely are.
They took so much of the power out of those Cup cars. Just kind of messed them up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, these run like 100 horsepower in the Cup cars. They don't have any downforce to them, so they're really tough to drive. But it puts the driver back in control rather than the setups in the cars.
As we take a quick look here at that for Dion Jones, up 15 spots. Now, yes, it's because he really didn't come on down into the pits this time around, but still he's now up into a top 10. He's got a really interesting paint scheme going on there. Kind of digging that thing.
Good ones out here, man. Angry Indian 89 joining us over on Twitch saying, did the Louisiana fella get the monkeypox? No, I did not get monkeypox. It's just a sinus infection. He does say get well soon, so thank you for that.
I mean, in Louisiana, it's going to be gator pox anyway, right?
Probably.
Yeah, not to mention English. Did you see how quick Greg did that math on how many laps per tire set you should average and all that?
No, I wasn't listening.
Man, he was quick on it as the pace car comes back down into pit lane here. Back to green flag. Racing we go side by side. Jess Vaught and Derek Welsh here. 1 and 2. Jess getting a really good restart as Derek is able to slide right on down into second with a nice clear gap as the 01 of Kelly Keel and the 7 of Russ Kilgore battle side by side through the exit of turn number 1. They're still going to be side by side down this front straightaway. Let's see if the 7 maybe tries to keep that 01 on that outside granite.
51, the 4, and the 28 with 3 wide. Now the 11's 3 wide with them. Whoa, they sorted it out, thank goodness.
I mean, that's just the struggle of the 4 getting stuck out on that granite. That's how much time you lose. It's not only that, but you got to... Oh,
got to call around.
Big checkup. No yellow yet. Looks like they'll regroup. We're going to stay green. Dale Adamson says, "Go Team Limitless Motorsports" over there on Facebook. Thanks for joining us, Dale. Yeah, that was a close one.
Yeah, oh, it's a 37 hard into the outside wall here again in turns 3 and 4. Just carrying a little bit of too much speed. And I mean, that's the other thing. If you carry too much speed and you're still carrying that speed onto the granite, you can't stop it. You're just going right on out to that wall, and you're at the mercy of the racing gods at that point. So have a battle here in 12th and 11th. George Rincon and Albert Anderson, America's driver, still side by side as they head on through turns 3 and 4. You got Ricky Wittenberg right there as well. All these drivers have pitted for tires, so they are on some of the freshest sets out there. And that would explain some of the aggressive driving, trying to get up a few spots, as Eric Klafka was almost 3 wide there with the 223 of Mark Collins and the 753 of Jeremiah Burke.
Be aggressive now, but that's going to burn your stuff up really, really fast. So gotta kind of be cautious on that. Don't want to go too aggressive, especially if you get a long green flag run.
Kathleen Anderson over there on Facebook saying, "Come on, Albert, keep on moving up." Albert just took another spot. He's up 6 positions, now in the top 10 position.
Man, look at Jim Ott in that 205. He is driven back up through this field. He's one of those guys that did pit for tires, and so he had to make up a ton of ground on this restart, and that is exactly what he did. He moved on up back into 3rd. He's got some time to make up to try to catch on up to Jess Vaught up there in 1st, who's clear of everybody by a good 2nd. But yeah, Jim Ott just driving around everybody, and that's that difference of new tires, is you're really able to really drive it in there. But like you said, Greg, you gotta be cautious on them, especially this early on in the race. You don't want to burn them up and use too many sets too early.
Yeah, that's the fun part of having tire set limits. You really just can't burn them up. You've got to be conservative. And I think it makes for some pretty decent racing, because you're not going to have the uber aggressive drivers really just going for it every corner. It takes patience, which is my race style.
As Jeremiah Burke as well is kind of shuffling his way up through this field. Looks like a lot of the Team Limitless guys did come down into the pits, as here comes Jim Ott right on up to that back bumper of the 33 of Jess Vaught. Here we go, another battle here for the lead.
Jess is on his original set of tires. Keep that in mind. 23 laps difference tires between the first 2 guys here.
That they are. Here he goes, looking down to that far inside line. Jim Ott trying to get the run, coming off of turn number 2, side by side down this back straightaway. They also have Mike Adamson there, hunting both of these drivers down, as this kind of racing side by side is just slowing both drivers up. Looks like Jim Ott now finally able to get through and on out and clear and back into the lead here, as Mike Adamson just follows right on through turns 3 and 4.
Yep, Dale Adamson pulling for the Limitless out there on Facebook, saying, miss racing with these guys. Hopefully he'll be able to race again maybe next season.
I'll take a look at Jeremiah Burke. He is up 14 spots now from the start of this race. That is moving your way to the front right there.
Yeah, and I mean, not only that, did he moved his way through up to the front not once but twice, because he was up there in the top 10 before that caution, came down, got some tires, had to work his way back through all those cars that he passed already. So he's done the good old rally train from the back to the front over and over again. Man, oh man, he's driving really well. Timothy Pope looking to try to get back on up to that front as well after coming on down into the pits. Looks like he did get a chunk of that damage he got in that earlier incident fixed. He's slowly working his way up, now up into a top 10.
This is where you want him to have a bonus point for most cars passed. You keep going to the back to the front, back to the front.
Well, some of the drivers we see mentioned it earlier, Russ Kilgore, one of those guys that doesn't necessarily qualify well, but he always finishes strong. So it seems like almost every week we're calling his name as one of those guys that picks up the most positions gained. But he had a good qualifying lap here today. He started in, what, 7th, 5th, something like that, somewhere around close to the top 5.
As that 753 at Burke, man, he has really caught on up to that 33 of Jess Vaught, trying to sling it around on the outside here, down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. I think Jess is just kind of concise to trying to run as low as he possibly can to make the track as short as he can here, and just letting Jeremiah maybe burn that stuff up, driving hard on that outside. They're still going to be side by side as they came back across the line, and it looks like finally Jeremiah able to get that rear bumper clear of that 33.
Wondering how long these guys that haven't taken tires yet, how long are they going to push this thing? They're just going to try to run it out of fuel, Greg? Because I think that's probably what you'd be doing.
Yeah, that'd probably be my strategy. Just go ahead and run it out and, you know, get the most out of the tires. Change them too soon, then you might have an extra set at the end of the race. Maybe if you get a late race caution. So at this point, I think your only strategy would be, if you haven't got tires yet, just run it all the way to a full tank of fuel.
As the 267 and Nathan Stanley had a close call with that outside wall, able to keep it on off of that. He had a charge in 14 of Jeff Ottinger, looking to maybe make a pass there. Both drivers have not come down into the pit lane yet, as looks like Chad McCabe goes off track here once again. A little excursion, but able to get everything back under control. But right there in front of these two, you got George Rincon and Chandler Paul going side by side down across the straight.
Last week's fan of the race, Jake Kutcher on YouTube, joining us, saying, "Let's go, Chachi." Of course, pulling for the 81 of Jonathan Osborne. Welcome back again, Jake. And don't forget, folks, we do a fan of the race every race during this season, so keep those comments coming, and we'll announce the fan of the race after we're through here at New Hampshire.
That we are. And of course, just as I mentioned, it almost seems just a few laps ago, that 728 of Timothy Pope, he broke up into that top 10. Well, he's now up into the top 7, trying to maybe talk with teammate Albert Anderson here, maybe saying, "Hey Albert, just let me get around here, I'm running a little bit quicker," and trying to catch on back up to these leaders. Albert will I think oblige that, but he's also going to let Ricky Wittenberg squeeze on through here on that inside line as well. No, maybe not. Sitting
there watching Jim Mott leading this race, and the line he's taking, he's really doing a diamond on these corners. Go in low, kind of slide out in the middle, and then come off low. It's a really good way of saving tires and still being fast.
And you know, that's something you don't see everybody do. That is a 100% driver skill technique that, man, I know I can't do it. It just shows how much practice these guys put in and week out, and the dedication they have to not only racing here in iRacing, but just, you know, this Vigilante league.
They put up practice sessions during the week, and you'll see a bunch of guys get together and do what they call mock races. You know, get out there and just kind of feel it out, see how you can race the track. You can only do so much with AI and during testing. It really helps to have other human drivers around you, especially people you're going to be racing against on Wednesday night. Give you a little bit better of idea of where you need to focus your practice.
So we got the 37 of Dustin really trying to hunt down that 4 of Dion Jones. He's really putting in some good laps here, just having problems just trying to get around people. And I think that's, especially as the later these runs go on, really where passing becomes difficult. I mean, we saw it at Pocono. I mean, once when you get to a certain point, man, passing's almost impossible. Ooh, was the 211 a little slow coming off of that turn, but able to hang on to it and stay out of the way. Chad McCabe
37 really was all over the place right there, trying to hang on to it.
Well, look at that. We're having a pass for the lead right now.
Yeah,
They're racing hard at the front.
you are not kidding. Side by side, that 51 of Mike Adamson and the 205 of Jim Ott. Still side by side going through turns 1 and 2. Looks like they're going to still be side by side when they come on down to this back straightaway. Who's going to get the run off of that corner? It looks like it's going to be Ott.
They're also having to fight lap traffic at the same time, which just makes it a lot more exciting for us watching this race.
We know that 57 with no hood right there is not quite as quick here. I think he's lost a few RPM off that motor as well.
It looks like Mike Anderson's backed off a little bit.
Oh, that's that 57. Almost loses it and drifts right on up into Mike Adamson. I know that wasn't on purpose, but that was a very close call from Russ Endicott on up into Adamson. But everybody moving away unscathed. No Band-Aids needed.
Maybe a change of shorts.
Just maybe, as here comes that charging 728 of Timothy Pope, making his pass on the 11 of Eric Klafka, now up into a top 5. He's really hunting some of these guys down. Again, one of these guys that came down, I don't know if he took tires, but based on the speed that he's running compared to everybody else, I would say he probably took some tires on that pit stop he came down on.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely running a lot quicker there. Brandon Taylor saying, close call, great recovery, though. He also says, come on, Jess. I know Jess could pull something out of his rear to win this thing. Probably a rabbit's foot he's been keeping up there. Don't need a lot of luck. Jess is a pretty damn good driver. We saw that big time last season. Running down towards the end of the season. Solid second in points there.
That's a little battle back here between Chandler Paul and Kelly Keel. It seems like these two have been having a pretty good race here tonight so far. Both drivers just outside sniffing for that top 10. And of course, we're only a quarter of the way through this race here. Just finishing up lap 50, going on to 51, as here comes Jess Vaught down into the pit lane.
That's about time. I'm sure he was just pushed as far as he could. 50 laps right now on that one tank of fuel.
And I don't even know if that was based on fuel. I wonder if he could have kept going a few more laps on fuel. But, man, it's just those tires, man, they just get eaten alive as these guys continue to turn laps here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We've got Nathan Stanley looking to hunt down that 14 of Jeffrey Ottinger. Let's take a look here from the cockpit helmet view cam of that 267 here, and you can just watch how these guys have to really manhandle this wheel and as smooth as you can try to make your way around this track. You can hear just how smooth he is trying to get back onto that throttle. He's actually downshifting in these turns and shifting back on up into fourth gear there.
Well, Greg, I got to pick your brain here. Now that we know that Jess Vaught just pitted on lap 50, this is a 200-lap race. I mean, he could split it up and make 3 stops, but he'll have one extra set of tires for that late caution, I think.
That's not a bad plan right there. Keep that extra set just in case you got a late caution and everybody else is out of tires. You've got an extra set. That's a big advantage.
Yeah, with 70% fuel, he might have been close right there. He might have been running on fumes when he brought it in.
He might have been, as we see here from Jake Kutcher over there on YouTube land saying, let's go Russ and Chachi. And both drivers having their own little issues. Russ getting involved in a lap 1 incident, and Jonathan Osborne having some technical issues. Osborne not really benefiting too much from that caution. Maybe able to get 1 lap back, but he's really got to bank on a few more cautions here, as he's really struggling on that outside line.
Yeah, that's the thing about running in a league like this, that they run so many green flag laps. If you do lose a lap or 2, it's going to be difficult to get them back.
As I'm showing here, Albert Anderson, he's been in the pits for a good long while here, about 4 minutes and counting. I wonder if we have a technical issue going on here for that too. Looks like he is not feeling it, just as we mentioned him. He's in a lot of pain here tonight, and his back just not up to the race. And I mean, that's the other thing we don't talk about here in iRacing. You know, even though it is a computer simulation and you're sitting in your bedroom or secondary room or wherever, man, it still takes a lot of effort to race these things.
Yeah, with all the force feedback and stuff they put in these wheels and stuff, I was talking to him pre-race about it. He said, "Man, I'm gonna hang in there as long as I can." Well, he made it. You know, good portion of the race there. Sometimes, you know, it just catches up to you. I've had back spasms myself. I know how he feels. So, now take care of yourself there, Albert, and enjoy the rest of this race with a cold one.
As leader Jim Ott breaks on down into pit lane here, I think maybe just trying to get himself back onto a somewhat normal cycle. So that's going to leave the lead up here for Jeremiah Burke and teammate 728 Timothy Pope. And it looks like Burke's just going to say, "Tim, just go."
You don't want to be the guy holding somebody up,
Especially your own teammate.
Oh yeah, Burke up 16 spots. He's had one heck of a run so far.
Yeah, you hold somebody up too much, they're going to use that chrome horn on you. Nobody wants the chrome horn.
No, and we have seen it here in real life at New Hampshire. Those bumpers do get used, especially coming into this final stretch, as Mike Adamson, after having his pit stop as well, came in right around lap 55. So he himself trying to get back on to that cycle, has caught on up to Jess Vaught here. So both guys now closer in the tire department, especially the tire wear. Let's see who can outdrive who here as the 51 almost drifting it around turns 3 and 4, just trying to get as much speed out of that thing as he can to pick up a run on that 33.
I think drifting's going to be the way to take care of your tires and have them last for fuel, for a full fuel run. That seems to wear them out a bit much.
I believe you're right.
It's been my experience anyway.
As a team member, Cult of Chaos, Ricky Wittenberg makes his way around his good friend and teammate Eric Klafka up into third place. Ricky Wittenberg, one of those guys, if he just had a little bit of better luck last season, man, I think we would have seen Ricky up in that top 3 quite a bit, but just not getting those breaks that he needed late in these races, and looking to really change that around here this season. But not a too terribly good race over at Daytona, and getting DQ'd due to incident level last week. Probably one too many wall contacts. Not the start that 55 really wants on this season.
But it looks like the Numb Thumbs racing team had a little bit of strategy. They both, two of them just came down into the pits at the same time there. That's the 208 of Derek Welch and the 267 machine of Nathan Stanley.
I wanted to hear you say that 3 times fast.
Mark Collins stayed out. He's got a little bit fresher tires. I'm not saying nothing fast today, man. I'm lucky I still got a voice left. What y'all don't hear is all the coughing in between sentences. I keep having to mute myself.
As we kind of look through this field right now, we got 15 drivers still on that lead lap. Looks like Jeff Ottinger is the first car 1 lap down. Nope, make that Russ Kilgore, but that's kind of due to this pit cycle, and I'm sure everything's gonna kind of fix itself out here in probably 10 laps or so, as we have some really late pit stop takers here. Derek Welch there on lap 60, had Nathan Stanley there on lap 59, as looks like David Fight as well. He's maybe having a little bit of an issue here, as he's been on pit road for quite a while.
Ashley Osborne pulling for the 81, our brother John. What else we got out here in the Facebook land? Albert Anderson III, who had to exit the race. His family tell him, hey, take care of yourself first. Give that back a break. And Albert letting us know there's a lot of braking on this track, and that's what was making it really difficult for him. So, yeah, it's best to just sit out and not further injure your back. He said he'll be back next week ready to go, though.
Yeah, back injuries are nothing to play with. They hurt a lot.
Yes.
We're all old enough. Well, maybe not Brown, but we're all old enough. We've experienced them.
Well, he had it when he was younger, when he was doing the pro golf thing.
Yeah, but it doesn't count when you're younger. It doesn't hurt then. You feel them like 27 minutes.
That makes you quit pro golf, and it probably hurts some.
It's definitely not fun. As man, Mike Adamson still sitting right here behind Jess Vaught in that 33, just really struggling trying to figure out a way to get around him here. But it could also be a kind of a gameplay here. You know, the 51 knows they're on slightly different pit cycles. I think the 51's looking to stretch things out just a little bit longer than maybe Jess is. So things are just going to come down to pit strategy here as Timothy Pope leads this race by almost a solid 2 seconds here. Jeremiah Burke has a healthy gap behind him to Ricky Wittenberg. He's got about 3.5 seconds back there. So, here we go. Mike Adamson finally sees the opening he wants to try to take that move on the 33. He's going to slide job it right in front of him. Just able to get that rear bumper clear and steal that position away up into 6th. Jess Vaught started off strong here, but maybe staying out on that first caution. Still a ton of racing left to kind of decide whether that was the right call or not, but right now, not looking like it.
Brandon Taylor saying, come on, Jess, only 5 more positions to get up there.
Looks like Russ Kilgore finally got one of his laps back here. He's back on the lead lap, I believe.
That he is heading back on lap 50, which is not surprising here. He is on fresher tires. I mean, Timothy Pope, Jeremiah Burke still have yet to come down for their second round of pit stops. I think, like you said, at this point now, they're not worried about staying on cycle or whatever. They're kind of committed to whatever they're on at this point, and they're just going to run it until either they have no tires left or no fuel left, whichever comes first.
Looks like David Fight is done for the night. He's manually disconnected. I'm not sure if he hit the incident limit or he may have too much damage, but he is done for the night.
I think Chad McCabe is also in that same boat. Does it say he is disconnected here as well?
He's been DQ'd. I'm not sure if that was for not having his Discord straightened out or if something else was the deal there. Not really sure.
Oh, as we got a big ball of action here. Oh, the 81 Jonathan Osborne just came out of the pits. Woo, that was getting dicey down there, coming through turns 3 and 4 as Jim Ott trying to work his way through some of this traffic on those newer tires.
Oh, there he goes. 81's going around. Save it, buddy. Wow, what a save.
Able to wrangle it back just in time before he got out into the 11 of Eric Klafka there. He was definitely sweating bullets. I know Mike Adamson was looking ahead and just being careful here. Chad McCabe saying incident limit got him here. And yeah, man, it's one of those races, man. New Hampshire is not an easy track. I don't want to say that's why I hate it. I just really don't like this track. But nonetheless, it is probably one of the harder tracks to race well at and consistently here on the NASCAR circuit. It's Timothy Pope with some lap traffic in front of him here trying to figure things out. Got that 7 of Russ Kilgore trying to work his way back through some of this lap traffic as well. You see there that 57 of Russell Endicott. Man, he's not fast, but he's just plugging these laps right along, just minding his own business here tonight. As Dustin really looks like he's trying to maybe make up some time here. He's down a couple laps or so, letting that Jim Ott and other cars go on by. Looks like that's that 208 of Derek Welsh, who's looking to get his lap back as well.
hearing rumors that iRacing's working on the traction compound like they use in the real NASCAR. So if they can do that, that'll really change the way this track races.
As Mike Adamson goes side by side with that 11 of Eric Klafka, he's going to get that position here once again. Again, he's on newer tires. Eric Klafka last pitted on lap 23. Really having a brutal night here tonight on these tires. Is these guys really trying to push it to the limit as Kelly Keel gets passed by that 208 of Derek Welch.
He was climbing the wall back there. He got into the outside wall, the 01 of Keel, and it looked like it started to try to climb. You ever seen the cars do that where the right-hand side of the car starts bucking?
Oh, yeah. I've done that before.
Climb it like a Jeep there almost.
Yeah, these walls, when you get into them, they're going to keep you and hold you for a while.
They will. Jess Vaught making his way around that 11 of Eric Klafka. Excuse me, as we're now on lap 76 out of 200, almost to that halfway point. Only the one caution so far. Still not 100% sure what threw that first caution, but you know, still everything doing A-okay, and you know, that's what we kind of expect to see here at Vigilante. I mean, it even started back when we were watching their recruiting races before season number 1. They just had a bunch of random people come on in and have a great flag-to-flag race over at Auto Club in those trucks. And, man, you know how tight some of that racing can get. Going flag-to-flag there, man,
they definitely set the tone, didn't they, for the next few seasons that would follow. And, oh, man, the 81 is so super loose out there. He is just about drifting these corners, Greg, as you mentioned earlier. Really not the best way to treat your tires, but he's just really just trying to hold on to that thing.
Man, the more you do it, the worse it's going to get. It may be time to go ahead and pit and try to put some fresh rubber on it and see if you can get get that rear end under control again.
Almost as he's wiggling coming out of turn number 2. He last pitted on lap 57, so if he really wants to try to make it to the end of this race.
4 into the outside wall. A couple of cars collected. George Rico's nowhere to go. Jess Vault involved as well. No yellow.
Yeah, I wonder.
At least 4 cars involved there.
Yeah, let's go back and take a look and see what happened here. Got some slicing. Got that 4 pass on the 57. Oh, 57. I don't know what happened there. Looks like he came down maybe on trying to make his corner entry and tag that 4. Oh, yeah, George Rincon hard into him. Jess Vaught really trying to check up. Thankfully, he didn't get hit too hard there heading on into the corner, but it's just... Ow, man. Looks like
Albert Anderson.
Dion getting the big brunt of that.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage on the rear end. It looks like it slid the back end right up into the outside wall. Albert Anderson, after retiring from the race tonight, says, "Hey guys, where's Adam Turner tonight?" Adam had a training class to go to, I think in OK City. So we got one of his Oklahoma brethren up here helping us out tonight. Greg Klein, we sure do appreciate you. I know you Tulsa area guys probably look at the guys from Oklahoma City and south of there a little bit differently, don't you?
No, we try not to look down on them because, you know, we're in the prettier area of the state than they are. But, you know, it is what it is.
So there was a saying a while back, I think I heard it from you that said, you say that you're from the Garth Brooks part of Oklahoma and Adam's from the Tiger King part of Oklahoma. Is that about right?
That sounds right to me. You know, where I'm at, Garth Brooks is actually just a couple miles away.
There you go.
His house is pretty close to mine, so...
Maybe I can borrow cups of sugar and trade recipes or something.
I don't know. He's got a really big gate.
Probably big
I don't
security
think he
guards
wants
too.
people in there. Yeah. I imagine that all comes with it. They probably carry big guns. And, yeah, I don't want to mess with that. That sounds like it hurt.
As Timothy Pope was your leader there, he's coming down into pit lane. We saw quite a few other people come on down. Jeremiah Burke being one of those. those guys really pushing it as far as they can here on these tires and fuel. Just trying to get as much space and time as possible as Jim Ott now regains the lead for the third time here tonight.
Fewer and fewer cars on this lead lap.
Man, and I mean, part of that is, look at the different pit strategies. We got people in the 50s, right. We got people pitting now, we got people, pitting in the 40s. So everybody's still kind of out there trying to figure out a way around this racetrack. As the 57 of Russ Endicott into the pits there, he was tagged very hard during that last wreck. Looks like he's now going to be making his way on out. Still missing that hood. I wonder if he's still saving that fast repair.
It's not a bad strategy because this track will bite you. So save it to the end if you need it then.
208 to Derek Welch with a close call there. It looks like he might have got just a little bit loose right there around Tim Pope. Able to avoid contact there. Heads up driving by Pope and the 208 to Welch.
Ricky Wittenberg looking to try to make some moves here on that inside line. He's up into 7th. He just recently pitted as well. Same thing with Tim Pope. Now my question for you here, Greg, is now that you're on these newer tires, are you just trying to dig as hard as you can to make up some of that time that you lost and maybe close that gap up to some of these guys that are maybe waiting to pit coming up? I mean, Jess Vaught, he last pitted on lap 50. His strategy holds. He's going to be coming down, lap 100. So he's going to be driving really slow out there on some super old tires.
My strategy is always going to be just get back in your rhythm as quick as you can. Rather than charge hard and burn them up, just get back in a rhythm, start hitting your marks again, and just see how long you can make them last.
Well, keep in mind, too, that some of those laps that Jess had on that first set of tires were under caution. So we've been green since before that. So looks like we've lost a couple of guys due to connection problems. Hot Rod Dave Mabry, Ricky Wittenberg just dropped out.
Albert Anderson.
Well,
wow.
Yeah, I saw it like on my screen. It was almost like one of those iRacing surges, and just a whole bunch of people disappeared there for a second. Most of them, thankfully, coming back. But I know, Greg, you and I were involved in one of the endurance races when that happened. Thankfully, both of our connections were fine, but dang near 3/4 of the field just suddenly disappeared and disconnected.
There's no easier way to pass somebody than have them disappear.
Man, you are not kidding on that front.
I had myself muted. I was laughing. That was good.
Here we are, just about 10 laps away from halfway through this race. You got Timothy Pope now crawling up the rear end of the 7 Rocket Man, Russ Kilgore. Thankfully, Russ keeping all 4 tires on the track surface here once again. I'm sure he's got a special magnet or something to keep his car on the racing surface this season.
Yeah, he's got something spray and stick him on his tires or something out there. But I want to go back again and talk about the strategy of, making the tires last. And Greg, I'll point it to you again. That takes a certain amount of discipline, right? I mean, you might have the urge to go out there and just run as hard as you can and try to quote-unquote make up time, but that's just time you're going to lose on the other end, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to wear them out quicker and you'll end up slower in the end. I mean, it's tempting because, man, do tires feel good, but really your focus should be get back in your rhythm, go easy on the tires, and just make them last.
Yeah, absolutely. As we take a ride around here with Derek Welch, really not racing for any positions around him right now. Maybe just trying to jump back into a groove here, but looks like he's got that little lean that we saw him have last week. Who knows? Maybe that's his way of just keeping a rhythm. It's just get that lean in there, tying everything up just right. I mean, I know when I'm wearing VR, I just instinctually lean, expecting some G-forces to hit me, but it seems like that's his driving style. Just like he likes to sit really close to that wheel. I mean, like right up on that wheel. And you can see him there, probably talking to some of his teammates there, trying to explain some things and figure out maybe some new strategies here. Oh man, did Ricky Wittenberg have an issue?
He was one of the guys that disconnected or got disconnected because of the high rates of connection issue, but he's back.
He did.
Just disconnected.
Oh no, his car broke loose coming out of turns 3 and 4 after coming back hard into the inside wall. And I think Ricky maybe just not having it here tonight and just wants to maybe relax back on the couch and drink a beer or something, because this is a tough one. Oh, as Kelly Keel hard into that outside wall, exiting turn number 4. He's going to have Jeff Ottinger in that 14 sneak on by. If he's not careful, here comes that 267 of Nathan Stanley. Oh, man, throw a piece of paper between those two cars, and you'd have yourself a pretty little drawing with paint on both sides.
They're tempting the, what do they call it, the net code gods right there.
Net code.
Albert Anderson said, by the way, you're doing an excellent job in the booth tonight, Greg. Very informative. Greg knows a lot about racing. I think we've probably known Greg longer than anybody else on iRacing, hadn't we, Alan?
Yeah, I mean, it was really the three of us getting together. Man, what was that, almost 7 years ago now?
I think it was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It was 2016 when I started.
Yeah, man, talk about how far this sim has come. Back then, we were driving on ice. I mean, the new tire model has come and gone, and even changed even more than that since then. We've had, just dynamic track changes. Everything has just gotten better and better.
Added dirt, added all kinds of things. So it's been amazing to see the progress these guys have made with this simulation. I can't wait to see what comes next.
Actually, I was born over on YouTube saying, let's go 81, don't tear them tires up too much, you can still do it.
And we got some more packet loss disconnections here.
Oh, no. A whole stack of them.
Yep, they're dropping like flies right now.
One of them.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Kilgore, Tony Pole.
Of course, just as we start talking up the service, I mean, really, it really is a great service. We do not see this kind of big level of packet loss or anything like that too often. I don't know.
Unusual,
Greg, you wouldn't happen to see what server this is running off of? Is it something kind of in the Midwest area, maybe?
Well, they don't really have a Midwest. I think they've got Boston and they've got one on the West Coast. But I don't know which one they're using right now.
Yeah, because I know they got some storms rolling through that kind of Midwest area, but the sheer number...
Boston server.
Yeah, the weather up here is actually really nice today. So, I don't know if it's that or just the crazy traffic that's been happening. So, for those of you that aren't quite well aware, as we got Jeff Ottinger trying to stay in front of the 267 and Nathan Stanley. When we talk about packet loss and all this kind of stuff, it's basically the connection between each individual client and the Sims server database, which is located here in Boston. A lot of that connection issues and whatnot happen somewhere along that track, and normally everything's a-okay. Just tonight, man, it seems the service is struggling just a bit.
Yeah, I don't see this often. Like I said, I've been doing this for 6 years now, and this is maybe the third race I've really seen a lot of these packet losses and people getting dropped. So normally it's pretty stable, it's really good, but just tonight they seem to be having some issues.
I guarantee you the eggheads are over there working on it. I mean, yeah, as you mentioned during the endurance races, sometimes you get so many people in a split, and it may just overwhelm some link in the chain there. It happens.
Yeah, luckily not frequently.
Yeah, thankfully, as Mike Adamson was almost another victim there. He disappeared for a couple seconds, but he's still out there running around. And here we are on lap 101. Just Fought has not come down into the pits quite yet. I would expect him to come down ASAP, especially seeing all the issues these guys are having, man. If he comes down, gets some tires, puts in some really good laps, he can put some good time on some people.
That sounds like a great strategy right there. Fresh tires, put some laps on them, and a lot less people got to worry about fighting at the end.
Well, halfway, has this race kind of lived up to you guys' expectations?
Yeah, it has. I did expect maybe a few more cautions like we were expecting last week, but again, surprise, surprise, these guys doing an absolutely great job keeping everything on the track and kind of out of each other's way. Maybe the occasional contact here and there, but I mean, everything's been pretty kosher out there. I mean, just based on what you've been not hearing on the radio from your guys' end, it seems like everyone's been pretty cordial.
Yeah, I know Turner would be mad. There's no fighting in the pits. Everybody's playing nice. But it's been a good race. Get them spread out like this, and you're really not going to get a whole lot of cautions. Almost ready to throw a caution just to get everybody bunched up together again and create a little chaos.
Throw a roll bar pad out the window or something.
Water bottle.
As last season we did have those competition yellows that did stack everybody right back on up. Oh, tight racing there between Nathan Stanley and someone trying to get some lap back. But goodness gracious, that was tight, able to squeeze on through and really fight through and not have an issue. No crazy contact going on there. And of course, it's tough to say about this field now because of so many of the issues some of these guys have had. I mean, you know, Jim Ott was looking very strong up there at the front. He's, of course, now 4 laps down, having to come back from those connection issues as Mike Adamson comes down into pit lane for his next round of pit stops. Same thing with Jess Vaught. He's coming on down into pit lane. So I think maybe that's what Jess was waiting on. He was waiting on to see when Mike would come on down and be like, well, if you're coming down, I'm coming down. And hopefully by the time this thing ends, we're going to be pretty close to each other when that checker flag waves.
That means that Jeremiah Burke and Timothy Pope, teammates up here, will inherit the front end of this field. So they're going to go around out there and click off some laps together. Derek Welch challenging right there, sitting in 3rd. Eric Klafka in the 11, up 4 positions to be in 4th right now from where he started. Mike Adamson rounds out your top 5 so far.
Yeah, these guys' race strategy was not based on half the field getting booted, so it kind of changes things around a little bit.
That it does, and I mean, let's talk a quick second here about Jeremiah Burke, up 17 spots. Man, oh man, has he absolutely blitzed through this field quite a few times. And, I think we joked with him the first season, man. He just did not qualify well, couldn't get anything going. But we would see him constantly. Same thing with, Russ Kilgore, just not qualifying well, but able to make up a ton of ground once when that race flag officially comes into play. And, that's just some of the mentality. Some of these guys are not hot lappers. They don't run really quick 1 or 2 lap quick little things. They're out here for the long haul and really know how to take care of their stuff.
Yeah, that's all your tire saving strategy there. You don't get fast laps, but you get a lot of really good ones.
Give me consistency over speed any day of the week, especially when you're going to have guys out there making mistakes, clipping the wall, clipping another car, maybe burning up the right front too much, or burning up the rears while you're drifting around out there like the poor 81 was doing earlier. Just gonna. Yeah. It's always gonna be something out there for you.
As you can see there, that 753 of Burke with his face cam. He's been smiling, having a good time. But, of course, why not smile? He's currently leading this race on lap 110. And you can just see how much he's physically working that wheel back and forth. He's been kind of keeping 2 tires up on that granite and 2 tires on the asphalt on the corner entry here. I think that might be helping him on slightly older tires to maybe get that car to rotate, Greg.
Probably. Looks like they're doing a little bit of a diamond, a lot less than probably what I would normally do, but man, this is working for him.
Phoenix native out there having one heck of a good time, because it's all about having fun, but these guys are racing for money. I mean,
oh, 3 wide.
That'll put a smile on my face.
3 wide here between Mike Adamson, Eric Klafka, and Derek Welsh. Looks like Derek Welsh getting the losing end of that stick. Oh, getting a little loose under braking there. You gotta watch how much input you put on that one. And looks like Mike Adamson able to cut right on through and take over 3rd spot here from Eric Klafka on those newer tires. And man, he has been shot out of a gun. He's leaving Jess Vaught there kind of in the dust. I mean, both of those guys, they weren't too far off each other when they came into the pits. Well, they're sure enough pretty far apart now.
Well, talking about the pit strategy, Brandon Taylor over on YouTube says that, Jess had 7 seconds on Burke with older tires. A later pit is a smarter pit, in his opinion. So the end of the race is going to be interesting, to say the least.
So I'll see how much these guys stay spread out. If they get a little bit closer, make it more interesting. But spread out, it's going to be tough to make up ground.
And it will. And of course, people might. You can never underestimate that late caution. I mean, we've seen it just in all of our broadcasts, out of nowhere. Everything's trucking along just smooth and dandy, and then all of a sudden, bam, 2 cars get together, block the track, caution comes out. Next thing you know, you're in a green-white checker situation, and what you thought was going to be an easy win, man, you got to fight off 5 other cars.
Yeah, and one goes around there coming off of 2. Didn't see who that was.
Oh, it's Greg Dobson. He's still there on the infield grass, mowing the lawn a little bit there. Don't worry, Greg. The grass up here in New Hampshire doesn't get that long, so it's not going to take too much. But he's back rolling on the racetrack. Looks like he's going to stay down low, maybe coming into the pits here. He last pitted on lap 109, though, so could be a case of the fresh tires kind of biting him in a little bit.
Yeah, cold tires and a little too much wheel, and they go around on you pretty quick, especially coming off of 2.
I don't know what you guys think. I'm not looking for a caution here for the rest of this race. I mean, it just takes so much to cause a caution, and these guys are all spread out. There's loads of room on this track. I just don't see it happen. What do you guys think?
It's tough to say, especially with the aspect of it is a shorter track. It's a mile-long track, so lap traffic becomes an issue. And, I mean, we saw it there earlier between the pit cycles. I mean, we had Derek Welch and Mike Adamson and Eric Klafka 3 wide. And, I mean, you had little instances like that. As long as everyone's got their nerves about them and is paying attention, everything should be okay. But the longer and longer this race goes on, man, it turns into kind of an endurance event. You got to keep your brain going as well as your physically, your arms, your feet, and everything. Because I couldn't tell you how many times, I lose feeling in my feet. And you start braking a little bit more than you think you are, or not as much, and it's going to be pretty easy to maybe lose control here towards the later stages of this thing.
But also, the longer you go in this race, the more aggressive people are going to be trying to make up spots and get to the front. So the aggression level is going to ramp up, and that's when you can start having a lot of late race cautions.
Well, not only
the exact same thing,
but great situation I was talking about here, right in front of the 14 of Jeffrey Ottinger. We were 2 wide for 2 rows there as he's working up, trying to maybe get a lap back here on Timothy Pope. Tim is currently sitting in second for that 728 machine. But man, Team Limitless coming out strong here tonight. You got Jeremiah Burke, Timothy Pope, and Mike Adamson, 1, 2, 3. And man, they had 4 out of their 5 drivers up inside the top 5 last week. They were they really brought home some of those team points, which is, again, new this season to Vigilante Racing, as Derek Welch comes down into pit lane to hit one of his another pit stops, which we will start bringing you the point updates starting next week, when everyone's drop weeks all get calculated and everything like that. So we'll let you all know where your favorite drivers in standing here for this season thus far, starting next week.
I love the team concept, and with the addition of the team points this year, it's really going to show that off. And the teams are very competitive with each other. We saw a little trash talking on Facebook between a couple of the teams out there. Dixon Racing teams out there saying, let's go KOK Racing. That's a Cult of Chaos, newly formed team. But some veterans of this league.
Yeah, teams add a really neat element to the race, and a little bit different strategy too, because now you're trying to get your whole team up there. It just makes it a lot more fun to me. Plus, you're in Discord with a bunch of guys talking crap to each other, and it just really is fun.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, especially like we had at the start of the season at Daytona, man, we saw just how much racing with a team comes into play. I mean, you see here that 37 of Dustin, really, he's not really holding up teammate Jess Vaught there too much. Looks like he's going to try to let him on through across the stripe here, while he's trying to hold off that for a Dion Jones at the same time. So Dustin really kind of struggling here a little bit at New Hampshire, but when we get to these longer tracks, you know, the 1.5 miles and even the plate tracks, man, that 37 is one that you want to be around.
And speaking of, Chad McCabe, who hit the incident limit tonight, says he's ready for some super speedway racing as Dustin really contacts the outside wall, and they're 3 wide right now. Ooh, that was close.
Wow, excuse me. Again, back to my point. It's not necessarily 3 wide for position, man. It's just 3 wide in general. As you can see, George Rincon trying to work his way up through Dustin really there. You also got Jim Ott hanging about, trying to get some of his laps back. Jess Vaught was there still hanging around. Looks like Derek Welsh is trying to hold off a 01 of Kelly Keel. Another one of those guys you want to see behind you on the plate tracks.
Yeah, so glad to see him finally get a win earlier this season. The 01 of Kelly Kill. Been a member of this league since the beginning. Finally picked up a win this season.
That he has, as you can see Russ Endicott there, maybe heading on down into the pit lane one more time. Russ being the last car running out here tonight in 21st. We started with 25, so we still have quite a few drivers out there on the racing surface, but as of right now, before Jeremiah Burke continues his pit cycle, he has lapped the field all the way up into 5th. So everybody just trying to hang on and get the best finish that they can. And of course, they all want to stick around whether they get beaten and banged or not, because we also have a random draw driver of the day where somebody outside of that top 3 paying positions gets an extra $5 just for being a little extra lucky.
Yeah, just for hanging around and sticking it out, and not giving it up. So I always like the little random draw program they have here. It's really awesome.
And this is an easy track to want to just give it up, because it's very, very difficult. It is so frustrating. There's many times I want to just quit this track altogether.
You know which one is like that for me? Richmond. I'm that way at Richmond. I can't stand running more than a few laps there. I lose my rhythm. It's my kryptonite. I hate running Richmond.
See, I love Richmond.
Ugh.
I thought it was Sebring for you, English.
Oh, don't even bring that up. Ugh. For road courses, that's pretty close. It's up there. I'd rather run Bathurst every week than run Sebring once.
I love Sebring though. Such a fun track.
Man, you are not kidding us. The 285 of Greg Dobson having a pretty solid night here tonight. Currently in 13th. He is up quite a few spots. Let me make sure I get his face cam correct here. Up 9, sitting 13th, just kind of plugging along. Hasn't made too much noise, just kind of quietly going about his business. As, of course, that 205 of Jim Ott, man, coming back from the disconnection. He's been really trying to get some laps back. And man, he might be one of the guys we look at for Rally Train Driver of the Day. Maybe trying to get something going to make up some of this lost time. He's didn't lose too much. Man, I want to know what computer he runs, because he only missed about 4 laps. And that's a pretty quick load time for iRacing standards.
That's a quick, even if he had to restart or something crazy like that, that's an amazing load time there.
This looks like the 11 of Eric Klafka comes down into pit lane, getting another one of his stops in here on lap 130, which means we only got about 70 laps here left to go, which means only got about 30 minutes left of race time here left. We also got Nathan Stanley out there, currently sitting in a top 10. One of those guys, we've seen him have a few close calls with some of these guys, but he's just been sitting there plugging along, up 7 spots. And man, top 10s, they go pretty good.
All 3 wide again here. Contact between the 267 and the 728. It didn't look major.
Now they got it all sorted out, so away we go.
Oh,
Tim Pope.
Drift machine there.
Hanging on to it, but I mean, according to my my charts here, Tim Pope last pitted on lap 82. So here's that, right around that 50 lap mark. You see, we saw Jess Vaught and Mike Adamson kind of stretch that out to right around 55 laps. So I could imagine that 728 machine is just begging to get some tires, as the car behind him almost tags the outside wall there, as Mike Adamson slowly trying to reel in his teammate here.
Yeah, New Hampshire became a dirt track for that corner.
They did have flat track racing here last weekend. Yeah, definitely thank you all for hanging around, watching here on the Facebooks, YouTubes, and Twitch. So make sure you don't miss any racing action, especially coming up in August when our schedule starts to really busy on up, as we got a pass here for Mike Adamson on teammate Timothy Pope. Little change in positions here, going from 3rd to 2nd and 2nd to 3rd. Jeremiah Burke coming on down into the pits. I got a feeling Timothy Pope's going to be not too far behind him, but it's not coming down this time around. But like I said, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, follow whichever platform you're watching on, as well as hitting that notification icon, not just because it helps our analytics or anything like that. I don't care about all that stuff. Just it keeps you guys informed on when we go live, and just in case you forget, hey, it's race day and I got some AAA broadcasting to watch. So make sure you hit those and stay up to date with all the wonderful racing action that we've got going on for you.
Well, we just saw the 28 of George Racone and the 57 of Russell Endicott get into it out there on the track. A little incidental contact, it looked like. Russell sent the 28 around and then backed off of him, and then as the 28 came down the track, Russell Endicott tagged him again and got eliminated. He hit the incident limit there. The 57 is done for the night, DQ'd.
Oh, he was trying so hard to just stay on out there and plug along, but just not quite able to do so. Looking here at that 28 of George Rincon, looks the car doesn't look too damaged there, at least by New Hampshire standards. Really not seeing
out of
anything
the wall,
there.
which was a great deal. The wall is not your friend. You knew that.
No, not on this track for sure.
Jack Dixon joining us over there on the YouTube saying, great broadcast, great racing, great league, great racing team, and KOK. Ricky Wittenberg says, 55 disconnected. He went to the trailer. Disappointing. Go 11 and 72. Got to pull for those teammates that are still out there. Did Dave Hot Rod Mabry get tagged for speeding, maybe? The black flag popped up.
Well, maybe coming on down into the pits. Good. Maybe. Looks like it. Maybe a quick little stop and go for good old Hot Rod as Mike Adamson leads some laps here at New Hampshire. 139 completed. We're now working on the final remainder of this race, coming up on that 3/4 way mark, which means when we get to lap 150, we'll talk about the rally train driver of the day. Could be someone who's fought through this field a few times. Could be someone who's maybe just fallen on some luck and really needs to get something in high gear. We'll know here in about 10 more laps. You got more action here between Nathan Stanley and Jeff Ottinger. Man, these two must have some sort of magnets or something going on in these cars, because I think I've seen them together all race long, and both of them are doing really well up here inside this top 10 in 8th and 9th respectively.
This is the time of the race too. You're starting to get a little tired, kind of worn out. You don't get any breaks, no cautions, so these guys are going to have to fight through this last section of the race to keep themselves in it.
Trying to keep that focus, trying to keep that rhythm and everything. It's getting harder and harder to do, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. This is the dog days of the track.
Yeah.
As we see the 28 at George Rincon having a battle here with that 223 and Mark Collins side by side down into turns 3 and 4. Mark Collins way up on that outside granite. It looks like having the 205 as well, maybe trying to sneak his way on through as well, trying to get as many laps back as he can. Jim Ott in that 205, man. He's been driving really, really well. Just again, unfortunate for that disconnect there kind of midway through this race.
Albert Anderson good to retire early out there, still pulling for his teammates, saying, come on, Limitless Motorsports. Take that trophy home tonight.
Yeah, the nice part of the team concept, you always have somebody rooting for you. You always have somebody to root for. Even if you've had a bad night, root for your teammates.
As Timothy Pope now coming on into the pits, was wondering when he was going to make that move to break on down. So that leaves Mike Adamson, Jess Vaught out there on track first and second. It'll be interesting to see here. I think Jeremiah Burke will retake third place over Tim Pope, but Tim Pope's going to have those newer tires. He's going to be running like a bat out of hell coming across here. But interesting strategy waiting so long. He's going to be in an interesting spot towards the end of this race where he's not going to quite make it, I don't think. Pushing, yeah. It's going to be about that 55 lap mark. He's going to try to make it to the end, but it's going to be close.
Austin Paul joining us over on YouTube saying, let's go KOK, damn the torpedoes.
Of course, Austin Paul, brother of the 72, Mr. Chan the Man, Chandler Paul. Let's go ahead and make sure everything's all pulled up here. Saw him wearing a helmet earlier on, but taking it off because, man, he couldn't hear him. Honestly, I don't think I could race in a helmet, especially inside, without that great airflow or anything like that. I'd just be sweating my head off. But looking pretty well. A couple laps down, but currently in 12th. Really not too far out of a top 10. He's got about 6 seconds to make up to really get a hold of that. But feel pretty good as, man, we're really seeing people downshift in these turns. Greg, is that something you normally do? Is downshift at this track, or is that maybe just a little strategy people are picking up here today to keep that car under control?
I think it's a today's strategy. These guys doing it. I have never had good luck doing that. It's always seemed to hurt my lap times more than helped. just because I think it gets me out of rhythm. But this is a track you can definitely do it. Probably catch you a little bit of speed that way.
And Dixon Racing Team with a little bit of trivia out there on YouTube. We appreciate that as always. He says, here's a fun fact. First driver ever to win at this track drove the number 33, Rusty Wallace in 1993. He says, can Jess Vaught stay out there and repeat with the 33 win? He does have some damage. Brandon Taylor telling us Jess is still holding strong with a damaged car. So it's definitely a possibility. He's holding on to second right now.
How about we just go ahead and zoom in on that 33, see how much damage he does have. Yeah, that front hood still is a little bent up. I wonder if he's saving that fast repair for that final pit stop he's got to make, and really make sure he gets a... as everything goes blinking there for a second. Making sure he's got as fresh a car as possible here in the final stages of this race, but man, it's going to be a close call with all the different strategies going around. And I mean, it's not even like there's, only 2 strategies or whatnot have you. Man, we got people all over the place. People pitting on laps 105, 130, 140, 118, 120, 114, 90, 96. I mean, this is really turning into just one of those, man, you just kind of have to do what you got to do to make it by.
Greg Dobson, some pretty decent contact with the outside wall there. The right side of that car is getting a little scraped up.
He just had too much paint on the right side of his car. He took some of it off, so it's going to make it a little faster now.
Do a little weight and balance out there. Remove a couple layers of clear coat.
Yeah, you don't need all that. But one thing, when you have a long green flag run race like this, is the pit strategy is really going to determine how well you do. If you do the pit strategy right, you have a great chance of winning. If you don't, it's going to hurt you.
And it's a matter of not just what your strategy is, but sticking to it. Because if you try to change your mind or try to I've done that. I've gotten antsy and I said, you know what? Maybe that's not the right call, and I'll shoot myself in the foot. So I think if you plan and it's a good strategy, you got to just stick to it.
Yeah, I think we've both done that, shoot ourselves in the foot more than once on a pit strategy.
It looks like Jess Vaught coming on down in to make his final pit stop of the race. So he's
right on time.
He's going to have 48 laps to make up as much ground as he can and try to survive and make it to the end. Mark Collins here in that 223 is trying to hold off that 72 of Chan the Man here for 11th. Looks like Mark maybe coming down into the pits, moving early down way low all the way to the apron. So I think signaling to Chan there that he's go ahead right on around, man. I just trying to make it down to my pit box.
Mark Collins from the Numb Thumbs coming down to get his last pit stop in, possibly last.
Yeah, same thing with Mike Adamson. He's peeling off down into pit lane here. Again, once again, we had Team Limitless up there. 1, 2, 3, kind of here in this middle stage. Let's see if Jeremiah Burke, I think he will, but it's going to be close to get back around. But Jeremiah Burke as well, he's got to come down for one more pit stop. He last pitted on lap 134, and man, that's a little too much to ask trying to push it. I know we were talking about, I think it was Tim Pope, it was going to be close to 55-ish laps on his run. Hey, that's probably really close on fuel, so I don't think Jeremiah Burke's going to make it. He's definitely going to have to come down.
Ashley Osborne saying some dang good racing out there today. Great commentary, guys. Appreciate you, Ashley. Thanks so much for always watching and supporting Jonathan. And Dixon Racing said, here's another fun fact for you. Cult of Chaos is the best team here. LOL. Let's start some more of that trash talk.
Mm-hmm. That's what makes racing fun.
Yes, it is.
208 of Derek Welch makes a move for position here on that 11 of Eric Klafka. They're still side by side, though. That 11 is not giving up so easily. Still side by side. We're going to have a little break here down across the line. Looks like that 11, with that momentum from the outside, is able to hold on to that position.
All right, guys, who's your dark horse guy? Who's the one that's lurking right there close that could take advantage of maybe a little teammate slip up or something, maybe between the front two cars? You guys see anything like that happening, or are these guys running up front just they're going to run away with it?
Right now, they're so spread out. It's going to take somebody making a serious mistake. Some of these, end of the lead lap cars really have a chance at it.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at Jeremiah Burke right now. He's got a 12-second lead, but the problem is he's on really old stuff. Well, I can't say really old. It's only about 20 laps. It's Jim Ott runs fastest lap of the race, a 30.64 here late. Man, oh man, that is quick. Let's take a quick look and see what the track is like weather-wise. I know ambient temperature looking pretty good. Oh, the track is really cooled off from where we started. We started, well into the mid-100 kind of range, now down into the 80s. So not only are these guys kind of battling a change in track grip-wise and whatnot, but heat-wise, everything's changing.
That'll help these guys try to make these tires last a lot longer, too. A cool track will really, really help your grip levels.
And it did, but let's talk about that dark horse you were saying, and let's talk about our rally train driver of the day. Here we go. Choo, choo, choo. Grab one of those beers, Mr. Klein. It's not 100% labeled, but I know normally English and Turner kind of maybe split them in half, but man, you got to give it up for some of these guys that are coming back from that disconnect. I mean, of course, Jim Ott being one of them, and Russ Kilgore as well, but Jeremiah Burke, we saw him fight through this field more than once. It was almost 3 times now that Jeremiah's come from absolutely out of nowhere. Is man, oh man, up 17 spots. He's looking pretty good for Hard Charger of the Day award as well.
Resiliency, man. You really got to have it, especially, I guess technically this is a short track. It doesn't really drive like a real short track, but yeah, resiliency is definitely key. If you get a little damage early or something, there's loads and loads of laps to try to improve your position, but wow, no cautions so far tonight besides that one we had earlier.
I think this end of the race is just going to all come down to strategy. The thing Jeremiah Burke he's going to have going for him, I don't think he's going to be able to get the win here tonight. Just kind of looking at the base numbers, he's just losing a little too much time on these guys with the newer tires. However, he is just out in front enough that when he comes down for his final pit stops, he's going to have really new tires, and I think he's going to maybe sneak his way up into a podium spot.
And is this where he does a strategy, just taking 2 tires to get to the end of the race?
Oh, man, that's really risking something.
It's risking, but it's, what, about 4 seconds faster on the pit stop?
Yeah, that could be.
It's a thought. It's something we'll have to watch for.
That it is, as Ashley Osborne mentioning that Osborne means God Bear. Well, Jonathan Osborne didn't have the God Bear start that he wanted, but he's been out there plugging laps along as people have kind of fallen off and whatnot, up into 18th. So way to stick with it there, Chachi, driving that 81 machine. You also had Tony Polk. I think he had a disconnect at some point here as well in that triple tube car. He's hanging out there in 19th. And Dave Hot Rod Mayberry, not the best of nights for old Hot Rod, but hey, you know, he's out here having a good time either way.
That's really the main part of it, just out here have a good time. This is fun. Always supposed to be fun.
I want to thank all the viewers out there on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch for watching us tonight. A little bit of shake up in the broadcast lineup tonight, but thanks so much once again, Greg, for stepping up and helping us out here while Turner's out of town, and I'm at about 50% here, so sure appreciate you, man.
Well, thanks guys for having me. It's been a fun race to call, a fun race to watch. Hope the viewers at home appreciate it and enjoy it. I had a good time.
Almost. Man, 72 of Chandler Paul. He got as close to that outside wall sideways as you can just about get, but able to grab that Dr. Pepper machine, get it under control. He's got some traffic going on around him right now, but he's really trying to he's really trying to just stay with it here. He's up there in a top 10 right now, so a really good race going on for Chandler Man. Just outside of 30 laps to go here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Your top 5 look like this: Jeremiah Burke, Mike Adamson, Timothy Pope, Jess Vaught, and Eric Klafka, all lined up with some space in between each other. You also got Derek Welsh up there inside the top 10, Kelly Keel, Chandler Paul, George Rincon, Jeff Ottinger, all hanging around in that top 10. I mean, it's been one of those races where really anybody could end up in this top 10. I think when everything cycles back through, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some of those names change a little bit here and there, but for the most part, there's a reason why those guys are up there in that top 10 is they've kept it fairly clean and consistent.
Well, next week, we'll talk about that for a minute. We got a night race coming up, Kentucky Speedway, next Wednesday for 133 laps of action. Similar incident count limit, but a different animal as far as tracks go.
Yeah, Kentucky, you're going back to the mile-and-a-half super speedway, so it's going to drive a whole lot different than this. You've got banking on the corners to help you to get around them. It'll be a different animal.
We now come down into 30 laps to go, and here comes Jeremiah Burke for his final pit stop. Let's just watch him real quick as his teammate Mike Adamson takes the lead. Let's see if he does that 2-tire strategy or if he takes all 4 here. Coming on down into the pits, making sure he doesn't speed. I know that's been the bane of some of these limitless guys, is shooting themselves in the foot on pit entry and pit exit. Especially Albert Anderson. That looks like he has taken 4 tires as both ends of that car get lifted off the ground, and he has a 15 second pit cycle, and he's just gonna maybe get out in front of Mike Adamson there, who has that lead. Question is, can Jeremiah make up 18 seconds in under 30 laps to catch on up to Jess Vaught?
That's a tall order there. It's a really tall order when you're talking 30-second laps.
Thank you, Ashley. I couldn't get to the mute button quick enough that time. Hopefully next week I'll be back in proper form.
It's the 14 of Jeff Ottinger is trying to close in on that 28 of George Rincon here. A little battle for 8th and 9th. He's slowly inching his way forward. I've been very surprised with how many people have chose to even, temp fate riding around up there on that outside granite there, Greg. It's been just one of those weird races that we don't normally see this kind of thing. I remember doing a truck race here, and man, the second you get out there on that thing, you might as well just give up 10 spots.
Yeah, it's pretty treacherous up there, but these guys are making it work. I don't know how. I have never learned how, so man, props to these guys for making that work for them.
Albert Anderson not real happy with us dropping his name, talking about pit road penalties. He said, "What are you talking about, Willis?" He said, "I haven't had a pit road penalty in the last 4 races."
There's no worse way to run your race than pit road penalties.
Especially under green, man. Golly.
Yes. That's cost me a few races.
So 26 laps to go here. Derek Welch coming on in for his final pit stop. Same thing with Jonathan Osborne. I think these are the last few pit stops that we're going to see here tonight, as everybody else has either disconnected. Hot Rod Mayberry still has one more left to go, but yeah, he's kind of out there swimming in his own little world right now. But man, still got some racing going on this racetrack. We got Derek Welch after coming out. Oh, that's going to be a little close on that pit exit. I think he stayed below that yellow line just enough, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone in iRacing wasn't too happy with that one. But either way, he rejoins the track immediately and is racing for position here inside this top 10. He sneaks out in front of that 267 of, or excuse me, the 14 of Jeff Ottinger, and is now trying to run down that little 28 of George Rincon, as he was having trying his best to get away from that 14 of Ottinger, and just kind of keeping an eye on that gap. Just Vaught has still a 14 and a half. As Timothy Pope coming on in, I wonder if he realized he's not going to make it, and we're going to see a splash and go here from the 728.
So that's entirely possible. That's probably what you're going to see here. You're going to see a splash and go, and that's it. Get back out there as soon as you can. iRacing, it was close. iRacing said that the 208 was good on that pit exit. However, Timothy Pope, black flag.
Oh,
coming
no.
into the pit speeding.
Of course, we set that one up, didn't we?
It's a broadcaster curse.
Yes, sir, it is.
Oh, man.
The 14 and the 28 still looking very racy here towards the kind of middle of this top 10. That 14 just trying everything he can to get a run back on George, just really not having it, which is also kind of slightly surprising. George is on slightly, when I say slightly, I mean slightly fresher tires, about 6 laps here. I don't think that's going to make all that much of a difference. It's going to be one of those things, as we have 20 laps to go here the next time Mike crosses the line. And Mike, he is looking very strong. 13-second lead over Jess Vaught, and Jess Vaught's got about the same here over Jeremiah Burke. It's gonna be a race here to the finish. Who's got that stamina? Who's got that strategy locked in? And who's gotten lucky from the iRacing gods with all the disconnections?
Yeah, the disconnects just changed the whole complexity of this race. Really ruined a lot of guys' nights, and I hate to see that happen. Luckily, it doesn't happen too often, and hopefully, it doesn't happen again for a while.
Just kind of cycling through the field here, watching what excitement is going on. Looks like the 51's dealing with some mega flat traffic here. It's got, I believe that's Mr. Hot Rod Mayberry right there. Looks like he's going to stay high, giving Mike the inside line, even though they're on opposite teams nonetheless.
Yeah, you don't want to hold people up if you're if you're off the pace a little bit. talk about sportsmanship, this is one of those leagues where we see a ton of it. These guys really do respect each other. They don't always like each other out there on the track, but they're definitely respectful.
That they are 18 laps to go now. 3 people left on the lead lap, and that's Mike Adamson, Jess Vaught, and Jeremiah Burke. Of course, I think Tim Pope probably would have been the 4th, but getting that late pit road penalty really hurting his chances. Oh no, Chandler Paul having an issue back here. He's sideways across the track right at that start-finish line, just able to get everything back under control. Let's go ahead and take a look back and see what happened to Chandler Man.
Good to see it stay green there.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. He had the 222 on his outside of Tony Polk, and he just went straight on out to the outside like he wasn't even there.
222 apologizing on the radio. He felt like he came down onto the 72.
I don't know. Let's
kind of see it both ways there, but 222 apologizing on the radio.
Let's go ahead and watch it from the blimp view. See what kind of went on. The 222 was just coming down a little bit to get away from the wall. It was really the 72 that went way on up, but you know what? I'm sure people at this point just really not caring whose fault it was and whatnot, just trying to make it to the end here.
Yeah, these guys have got to be tired by now. 14 laps to go. You're worn out.
Yes, indeed. 15 laps to go. Jeremiah Burke has closed in that gap. Now about 9 seconds. He's running just a little bit quicker than Jess Vaught here. I wonder if he might have burnt his tires up just a little too early. He's about a quarter of a second faster, which I don't think is going to be enough to get him there. But still, 14 laps to go, and it ain't over until that checkered flag flies.
That's right. Anything can happen. We've seen anything, from late cautions to breakdowns to a little bit of everything here in the late laps here. It can shake up the finish here.
Heck, tonight you got to add possible technical issues to the whole deal.
That's right. We've seen that tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, that we have is, man, Jess Vaught looking as cool as ice as ever driving around here, and really, excuse me, other than the occasional issue that he had, with some traffic and whatnot. I know he got caught up in an incident that bent that hood a little bit and whatnot, but other than that, I mean, he's done really good keeping it very smooth and consistent out there on the track tonight.
Ashley Osborne on YouTube saying, sitting here behind the 81. That's her brother. As he is racing, man is a boss on that controller. If y'all don't know the story, Jonathan Osborne's story, that man races with a controller. The guy races with his mouth. He can't use his arms or his legs, so he got a special controller. He races with his mouth, and he gives these guys a run for their money every week. It's amazing.
That's a true race car driver right there. Whatever it takes.
Yes, sir, indeed. Man, that 7 of Russ Kilgore, he was looking really good early on in this run, but really struggling right now, going another lap down. I think he's got some damage that he's really trying to fight through, but he was up quite a few. He's now down 10 spots, down into 17th. We were looking at that 7 finally having a good starting position and maybe a good just overall race. Just not happening for him here.
Yeah, it's an opposite day. What's going on?
Is it a full moon or something?
I think it is.
That could be it.
Maybe it's Jeff Ottinger trying once again to reel back in that 28 of George Rincon. Just not going to happen this late in a run, though. Those tires are absolutely screaming to get off of these cars. With 9 laps now to go, the gap up to Jess is now 8 seconds. Man, Jeremiah's got to start running about a second a lap quicker than Jess, but the problem is he's actually kind of running right around the same lap time.
Get Osborne's camera up, or is it not up anymore?
I don't believe he was able to get it back up in time. I think he was just in trying to at least get back into the race kind of mode when he restarted all his stuff.
Ashley was saying next time y'all get a chance, y'all ought to watch him do that. It's pretty amazing. Well, as it winds on down, stay tuned after the race for interviews. We're going to interview the top 3 finishers. We're going to interview the random draw driver of the day. Talk to the drivers a little bit about today's race, and also looking forward down through the schedule, namely next week's night race at Kentucky. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Ooh, 3 wide action here. Dion Jones getting passed by some lap traffic. You got Jim Ott as well trying to make his way through, make up as much lap time as he can, as well as the 11 of Eric Klafka. He's had a fantastic run. I don't think we've talked about that 11 enough here tonight. Man, sitting there in a top 5 right now, and he's just been very smooth and hanging on in there. Same thing with Kelly Keel. Haven't really said too much about Kelly as well, but he's currently sitting there in 4th.
Yeah, he's at least he was the first car 1 lap down, and just hanging on to that spot. So I don't think he's got anybody to fight for position on the track right now unless he loses another lap.
Not exactly the way you want to get somebody to fight for position.
No, but I'm sure he's happy with the 4th place tonight, considering. And like you said, Greg, these guys got to be worn out. They've got to be not just physically, but this is mentally draining as well, isn't it?
I think it's honestly more mentally draining than physical most of the times. They're so focused for the whole time. So, man, you're gonna be tired all around, body, mind, everything. It's just worn out by now.
Right along the roof of Jim Ott here. He's sitting right behind that race leader, 51 of Mike Adamson. These guys, man, just trying to make it to the end. Jim maybe just trying to get that 1 extra lap back to not quite look so bad. I mean, he's already done a fantastic job. He's made up about a lap and a half from where he started having his connection issues on the day with iRacing, and done a very good job of fighting back through it.
Yeah, he's made a great drive. That was some bad luck with the disconnect, but man, he's made the best of it.
Come on, Mike. Hang on to it. That connection's having a little bit of a problem there for that 51. Starting to blink in and out.
This is where he's yelling at the people in the next room, get off the PlayStation. Give me some bandwidth here.
Hey, come on, Dale. Get off the stream. We'll accept it for that. Make sure he's got some bandwidth, because 2 laps to go now. Man, this is not when you want to lose connection. I've had plenty of official races go that way, and I've picked up a win like that because the guy in the lead, he was 15 seconds clear of everybody, but got a packet loss and disconnected.
That's where I start throwing stuff.
But either way, he's at least appeared one more time to take the white flag here from New Hampshire, the final lap at this Magic Mile, and boy, oh boy, has it been a really magical night for a lot of these drivers. Some not as magical as they'd like, but still down through turns 3 and 4 for the final time goes that 51. He's going to come down and across the line with a spectacular performance for the Limitless Motorsports team to pick up the win here at New Hampshire. Jess Vaught, through his own little special strategy, changing things up or maybe sticking to his original one, comes across the line in second, and then you got Jeremiah Burke, try as he might, just not able to make up enough ground on Jess here towards the end, but still up 15 spots. Hard charger of the day to pick up the third place finish.
This was a great race. A lot of strategy calls, and definitely made the difference at the end.
Yep. Besides the early caution that we had, which I think was a technical glitch, and iRacing deciding to disconnect a bunch of people. I mean, besides the technical problems, this was a pretty impressive race for a racetrack that a lot of people don't consider one of the most exciting.
With that, you are right. But how about we talk about the random draw driver of the day? I'm going to hit this generate button 3 times. That's going to be the finishing position of the lucky driver. So here we go. 1, 2, and 3. That's going to be the 6th place finisher, Mr. Derek Welch. So congratulations there, Derek, as these drivers kind of straighten on up to take a podium kind of little picture here as they kind of come across the line. Oh, that was a very quick picture by the looks of it.
Now we've got the random draw winner selected. Tonight's fan of the race is Brandon Taylor over on YouTube. Thank you so much, Brandon, for commentary over there on the YouTube channel. Out there supporting Jess Vaught as well. Thanks to all the commenters we had, subscribers. We appreciate each and every one of you. We love talking to you guys every week, and really did enjoy it. So see you guys next week.
We got Mike Adamson absolutely burning down whatever rubber he's got left on that thing. Man, oh man, he can definitely go on out there and enjoy it, as we're slowly getting people kind of trickling in here to the broadcasting waiting room. Let's see if anybody else jumps on up here. Oh, Jess was there for a second. Well, we can get things started off with tonight's random draw winner, and that's going to be Mr. Derek Welch. Let me pull up, make sure I got everything all pulled up. So there we go. We have the 208, Mr. Derek Welch. A solid 6th place finish here tonight for you in that Numb Thumbs gaming machine. Boy, was this a brutal long race. Once again, just an early caution going on, but after that, green flags through the entire thing. Man, your arm's tired or what?
I'm sweating. I'm tired, ready to go to bed.
Well, you had one heck of a race out there as well, and a lot of contact out there, especially early. Talk about a little bit of that, and did it really affect the performance of your race car going throughout the rest of the race?
Very start right there. I didn't know it was going to break that dang early, which I wasn't, and I slammed on the brake, and whoever got behind me came behind me. I think Jeremiah, maybe, I don't know, the guy in my rear. I don't know who exactly it was, but it didn't affect my car none. I had a strategy coming out here and trying to save my tires, staying out there as long as I could, and it didn't pay off for me. So it was bad calling on my part, but hey, 6th place. It's New Hampshire. I'll take it.
So you're looking forward to next week? We got Kentucky, excuse me. How do you like that track?
I've never really raced it that much on iRacing. I'll tell you when I get there. That's all I can tell you.
Well, man, I know you still put in a great effort, a top 10 finish here tonight. Before we let you go, Derek, you got any shout-outs or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. DEP. Paint my cars each and every league I'm in, and Numb Thumbs Gaming Community. I don't know if we got y'all on the radio tonight. I forgot to remind Alabama old man, but he's too busy over there trying to keep that top 3. It's about to drive him crazy. So
They're doing a pretty good job at it.
Yeah. Oh my God. He's bound and determined to grab
He's
that
stressed.
trophy. Yeah. And but anyway, like I always love each other, every one of them guys. Mr. Doug Stuckey. He got on to me when I was calling his name last week on podium, so I'm gonna call his name this week. But see you next week.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations on the 6th place finish, and we look forward to seeing you out here next week.
I appreciate it, man.
All right, so with that, let's head on up to Mr. Jeremiah Burke, who also has that face cam up. And man, oh man, Jeremiah, did you have a battle on your hands not once but twice fighting through this field, coming away with a hard charger, 15 spots up, podium 3rd place finish? And not only that, but you got a teammate up there on that lead spot, and that's 2 pretty good races for Team Limitless here.
Oh yeah, that was great. I am so happy to walk out of here with the 3rd place finish. I'm still convinced this track needs to be turned into a industrial complex or something. It needs to go away. But it was a tough battle. Luckily, I got lucky there with some of the guys getting kicked out and other guys and getting off strategy there and being able to just kind of strategy up, run a clean race, run my own race, and just use some smart, clean racing to get a good podium finish here. I couldn't be happier for Limitless. I know we had some bad luck with Tim. Albert's not feeling well, but I mean we had a good, decent finish again. 4 cars in the top 15 again, so we'll take it and move on to Nashville, which I'm really looking forward to.
How are you liking the Xfinity platform as opposed to the trucks from last season? We had the camera on you some tonight. You were all smiles out there for one of the few of us that say, they need to bulldoze this track. But it looks like you're having fun out there on the new platform.
I love the Xfinity car. It's always been my favorite car on the service. It's a lot harder to drive. Just kind of plays into my wheelhouse. I'm a real easy driver. I don't like to push it hard, and this car really rewards it if you're easy on the tires and just run a clean, smooth race.
So next week, what's your thoughts on that track?
Next week is Nashville, correct?
Thanks, Kentucky.
Kentucky night race.
Kentucky? Hey, the last time I ran, top split B fix there, I won it. So I'm all for Kentucky. Once we get in the 1.5 miles, I think that's really where I shine in these cars. So I'm looking forward to maybe I can get on the top step of the podium once.
Awesome. Well, man, again, congratulations on the 3rd place finish here tonight. In the money, as they say. Well, before we let you go, got any shout outs or anything like that?
Yeah, I want to say hi to both my parents. I think they're both watching. And of course, my teammates, we're all, I think we're all in a good mindset right now, and all of us are running really good. I think it's going to be a good season for us, and I'm looking forward to it. And of course, you guys, I didn't know Greg was up there with you guys, so good to see you. And I can't wait to watch your broadcast and see how it goes.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations, and look forward to seeing what you can do next week.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, so I can close that out. Let's move on up for tonight's 2nd place finisher, and that's going to be that 33 of Jess Vaught. Jess, as you like to say, bridesmaid once again, but still, I think you'll take a bridesmaid here at New Hampshire. This was a long, tricky, grueling track. You had a strategy. You stuck to it, and, man, it worked out pretty dang good for you up there in 2nd.
Yeah, buddy. I thought was involved in an incident, which I think threw me slightly off, and I wasn't able to get up there and mix it up with Mike and maybe Jim Ott if he hadn't been disconnected like he was. But honestly, you're right. I'll take a 2nd after being snake bit last week with computer issues, not being able to race at all. That really hurt my feelings, man. And then sitting here this week, at first, a few different things went wrong. Hell, I even had bad luck tonight. About 60 laps ago, I lost all sound, so I couldn't even hear my engine. It was terrible.
Hey, you need to find some chicken bones and draw some circles on the ground or something to change your luck, man. It sounds like you're catching a bad streak here. we're asking the other guys about Kentucky. We're going back to the 1.5 miles. Jeremiah Burke says that's where he shines. So the 753 said pretty much watch out for him when they go back to 1.5 miles. So how do you feel about it? And we love watching the night races, man. That's one of our favorite things to do. We're glad that your league does a few night races, but how do you feel about Kentucky overall as far as your own performance?
I like Kentucky. I think I will be competitive there, but there are those perennial front runners that are just amazing at the 1.5 miles. I mean, you got Tim Pope, you got Jeremiah Burke, you got Adamson. I think some of these new guys are going to shine there as well, like Jim Ott and some of the other folks who joined this past year. So, but if I'm up there and competitive, that's all I can ask for, with a chance to win, and we're going to go for it.
So, New Hampshire, how does that rank in your top 10 of tracks?
I like, for some reason, I am good at the flat tracks. Like, this is kind of, shorter flat track here. Was a Miracle Mile. I thought I would have been good last week at that track at Gateway. So I like these types of tracks, and I just seem to have them figured out. And if I can get that little bit of edge on the 1.5 miles, like the Tim Popes of the league have, I'd be really set.
Yeah, and I mean, not to mention the team aspect. We'll start talking more about the team points and the driver championship standing here next week. But you guys started off really strong, Vigilante Force, and you also had a pretty good race for you guys here tonight. I know you got second place. Kelly got fourth. I know Dustin wasn't having the best race, but he at least stuck it out there, almost a top 10 there for him. But just kind of talk about the team aspect of things. I think it's really coming into play strategy-wise, as well as people are just trying to run their own race, but not only that, but try to run a race to help their teammates out as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the teams get together and they work really hard at being competitive at these tracks in the hopes of everyone having a good finish for those team points. Because after last week, for instance, me getting a big old goose egg for my team, that really hurt us. And so it's important that even if you're running in the back, you keep fighting for those additional positions, because it gets averaged out, and it could mean the difference in the team championship at the end of the season.
That it definitely can. Well, again, congratulations on the second place finish here tonight, Jess. Got any last minute shout outs or anything like that?
Yes, the Vigilante Force, great teammates. You guys are putting on an outstanding broadcast. You guys have really upped your game even this season along. I've been really impressed, and thanks for that. My wife is always putting up with this and supporting this league, my kids, and a special shout out to my son Brandon, who's in town from overseas as a military member. So thanks for watching tonight, Brandon, and pulling for the old man.
Hey, welcome home, Brandon. Yeah, we'd love to have our service members back and home and safe. And thank you for your service there, friend. And again, Jess, congratulations on that second place finish, man. We can't wait to see what Vigilante brings here next week.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. You too.
All right, and so let's finish things off with tonight's big race winner. It's Mr. Mike Adamson driving that 51. Mike, I hope you like lobster, because you're walking home with a pretty big one here tonight. Talk about a little bit of the strategy aspect of this race, but not only that, just how grueling it was and how much you really just had to focus on running your race and just keeping those laps, smooth and all together.
Man, I'll tell you what, it was definitely one heck of a run. And it just being too, because tire will eat up here. One of the key factors, you got to Bristol track, you got to get into a rhythm and just your marks lap after lap and just try to stay focused.
Well, we talked to Jess a little bit about team concept and the different teams and how you all support each other. And Limitless Motorsports is probably one of those teams that supports each other no matter what. When you got guys that are out because they may not be feeling well, or guys that wreck out earlier or whatever, they don't just go sit on the couch and watch TV. They get on social media and support their teammates that are still out there running. You guys are still in the Discord chat with each other, I'm sure, encouraging each other and stuff like that. How important is it to be on a real solid team like what you guys have?
It's very, very important. Shout out to America's driver. He was like a big cheerleader tonight for me. He had the pom-poms going. Albert, get some rest, but back tweaked up, but he did well. And it is a big difference. That team, they support their a little frustrated. Middle Albert video said, "Calm down, just hit your laps, hit marks, and just stay. You got this. Bring it home."
Well, congrats on the win, Mike. Kentucky's next week. How you feeling about that track?
Oh, that's another one of my favorite tracks. I like Kentucky well. It's another rhythm track. You have to find your marks, rhythm. I try to do week out. You the track. You can't competitor facing your competitor, and you know it. You're having your stuff or burning your stuff up, and the best way to do it I've found is just race the track. Everything else will come to you.
Well, Mike, again, congratulations on the win here tonight at New Hampshire. Got any shout-outs like I know you got?
I just want to thank actually over the top designs for this paint. He painted that 51 for me. Got her in victory lane. I'm very happy about it. And shout out to all my teammates, Jeremiah, Tim, Albert, Greg, Jared, and congrats on a third place finish. Team Limitless, we are definitely on out on this season.
Yeah, that you are. Well, once again, congratulations, Mike. We look forward to seeing what you and Team Limitless can pull out of the hat here next week, and look forward to seeing what you can do the rest of the season here, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you guys again. It on podcast. You guys for what all you do.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. We'll see it.
See ya.
All right. And so with that, gentlemen, that brings a close to this Vigilante race here at New Hampshire. And man, Greg, aren't you glad you stuck around for this one? Because we were in for a pretty good show.
Yeah, this was a fun race. I appreciate you guys having me up here for doing this. I had a great time. Great race to watch. Hopefully the fans enjoyed it as well. I guess we'll go on to Kentucky, and hopefully Turner's back for that one. But anytime you guys need me, holler.
Yeah, brother, anytime. Let's wind things down from the 603 Granite State as we do our final official rundown here. Mike Adamson picking up the win. Big time win, man. That was a lot of effort out there. Congratulations to him. Same thing with Chesfot coming through with that little bit of incident. It did damage his car just a little bit, but able to continue to drive that thing all the way up to second place for that 33. Same thing, Jeremiah Burke, not once but twice driving up through this field in that 753. 15 spots, your hard charger of the day, finishing in third. You also had that 01 of Kelly Keel, just a quiet night. We really didn't highlight him all that much, but a solid fourth place finish for him. So great run there, Kelly. Also the 11 of Eric Klafka, finishing in a solid top 5 here. Derek Welsh in that 208, 6th place finish, with the 28 of George Rincon with a 7th place finish. Jeff Ottinger, man, he was having a heck of a run and battle with that 267 of Nathan Stanley, but he finally got the best of him here, finishing in 8th position. That 267 falling back into 9th, but still a solid run. You had that 223 of Mark Collins rounding out tonight's top 10.
The 205 Jim Ott started on the pole tonight, but he'll finish your first car 3 laps down in 11th place. Timothy Pope with that bad luck late, man, and that speed and penalty really bit him bad, and lost 3 laps, ended up finishing in 12th place. Chandler Paul in the 72 finishes in 13th. Dustin Reilly in the 37 had some problems out there, finished right where he started, right there in 14th place. 285 of Greg Dobson will finish in 15th. 7 of Russ Kilgore. Solid start for him today. Kind of a little bit of reverse fortune for him tonight as he falls to 16th, finished 6 laps down. Deion Jones in the 4 machine worked his way up from 25th to finish in 17th place. Chachi, Jonathan Osborne in the 81, worked his way up 8 spots, finishing in 18th place. The 222 of Tony Polk gained a spot, 14 laps down. He'll finish right there 19th, and rounding out your top 20, the 29 of Dave Hot Rod Mabry.
Yeah, you also got Russ Endicott, unfortunately, I believe disconnecting. You also had that 55 of Ricky Wittenberg disconnecting, so that was 21st and 22nd. David Fight had a rough night here tonight. That's that 221 finishing 23rd. You also have that 2 of Albert Anderson. Man, he tried to stick it out for his teammates, but just not happening. But that's all right. He still finished in 24th. With Chad McCabe getting the early DQ due to the incident limit. Just a few too many rides through the grass and wall taps there for him. But he'll be back at it again starting next week. And it's again, Lori Vaught having a nice easy night here. Not having to throw that caution flag out all that many times. Well, that is it for us here at New Hampshire. As always, we got to thank our proud sponsors of D&D Race Graphix. That's Grafix. You can find them over on Facebook and Trading Paints. If you need a car, truck, sprint car, anything like that painted for the iRacing service, man, Ricky Wittenberg, he does a fantastic job. I believe he does all the team Cult of Chaos, the Cox, KOK. He does all their paints, and they always look amazing week in and week out. So be sure to go hit him up to get some paint work done for your car or whatever you want done. Same thing with his real life business of Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. I know we like to shout them out a lot during these races, but we just had too much racing action going on that wasn't really able to get the sponsors in. So give Ricky a call there at 423-444-0454 in that Johnson City, Tennessee area, or across the country if you're looking to buy or sell your house and get yourself a good quality realtor, because I know Ricky's got a whole bunch of contacts and he's really able to help you out and get you in the home or out of that home that you want, because buying and selling a house in this crazy market right now, it's tough. Do not do it alone. Get yourself a good quality realtor and give Ricky a call over there. But for that concludes tonight's broadcast here from New Hampshire. We thank you all for tuning in and watching like you always do week in and week out. Please be sure to hit that follow, subscribe, whatever button you're watching on, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any great racing action that we have over here at AAA Broadcasting, because you guys are the reason why we do this. Otherwise it's just 3 people watching a race and talking about it, and at that point it's just straight up boring. So you guys definitely help us out with that, and we appreciate each and every single one of you. Again, big thank you to Greg Klein stepping into the boots of Adam Turner here tonight. Glad you were able to stay awake and have a great night with us here. But on that note, for Greg and Alan, I'm Alan. We're out of here, fellas. Have a good one.
We gone.